When you have maladaptive perfectionism, it can destroy your relationship. Not only that, it turns you into a loner who is stressed out, always censoring yourself and reevaluating what you do. There is an adaptive form of perfectionism, and that's really healthy. That's when you set your bar high. You want to do your work well. We think of adaptive perfectionism when we think of some very tedious jobs, like maybe neurosurgeon, cardiosurgeon. These kind of people, we need them to set their bar high. You know, if you look at jobs, maybe even the job you're doing, there is a place for perfectionism. And being able to do that and hold yourself accountable is important. But when your perfectionism becomes maladaptive, that means you can't accept mistakes. You cannot accept failure. If you fail, you have a meltdown. You're no longer functional. You can't continue because you can't move past it. That's when it almost gets into a category of being a mental illness. Many people who have this get into relationships, and when you have a maladaptive form of perfectionism, you carry that into a relationship. So let's look at 3 basic types of when a maladaptive perfectionism can get in the way of a relationship. It can happen, first of all, when it's you yourself personally. And that is, like I just reiterated with the story, that you have something going on. But in many cases, what I see is a woman who is perfectionistic about the way she looks. And what ends up happening, especially when she's dating, is if she doesn't look good that day, or she hasn't had her Botox or her filler or whatever, her face cream, then she will avoid getting together with people because of the way she fears that she looks. It doesn't even have to be that extreme. It can be something as simple as she feels perfectionistic about what she wears. And she would not be caught dead wearing a pair of shorts and a sweatshirt. So when she runs into somebody that she knows and loves, if she's not dressed appropriately, she many times will just leave or ignore them or act like she didn't see them. That's a maladaptive form of perfectionism, and one that you should and can get help for. Secondly, when it's other-oriented, let's say that it's someone who is really focused on meticulous cleaning. They don't want any dust. They don't want any disorder in their house. And they're in a new relationship. And the person that they're with is not like that. That doesn't mean that they're really sloppy, but they're not as clean as that person. Many times that person will start so many fights, so many arguments, because the house is not to his or her standard of cleaning. It causes such a disruption that the other partner begins feeling berated. They begin feeling bad about themselves, about their capability of being in this relationship. Because it may start with this one area of perfectionism, but maladaptive perfectionism will generalize to other things as well. And then there's the type of socially prescribed perfectionism. And that's when the person feels like everybody expects perfectionism from them. Like they feel like they cannot screw up anything, not in their relationships, not in any area of their life. So there is no downtime for them. They're totally stressed. They're totally anxious. And if you're with a partner like this and you would say, calm down, why are you so vigilant? It would be something like, I don't know, I just can't. Well, the answer many times is they have this faulty receptor that they think everybody is expecting them to be perfect. And that happens many times in childhood. They're not sure where it comes from. Many of these people don't have parents that told them or set these standards. It's almost like they set them for themselves. They were at high levels of functioning anyway, and they took it to an extreme for whatever reason. There are ways you can cope. The first of these, motivate yourself to change by by learning the benefits of not being perfectionistic. Sit in your jammies one day when you should be working, when you feel like you need to do something to appear perfect. Maybe you're going to have a dinner party. Allow yourself, make yourself sit in your jammies in the morning and totally tune out, whether it's watching cartoons or whatever it is. Do not do anything that is going to make you look any way other than just nurture and enjoy yourself. Secondly, recognize the fears that are underlying the perfectionism. Perfectionistic, when it becomes maladaptive, is about fear. Start writing fears as they pop into your head. Now, if you ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? Maybe one or two will come up. But as you go through the day and you start calming down, maybe you're not censoring as high, you're going to start being able to write down more. You need to get them on a sheet of paper because you need to catharsis them out. Thirdly, practice self-compassion. When you give others the grace of compassion, what does that look like? Do that for yourself. Give yourself a break. Tell yourself little reminders like it's okay. You don't need to be perfect. Nobody's expecting this. You don't need to make them perfect. Nobody's perfect. The more you say that to yourself, the better. The better you're going to do. It's going to calm you down, and also part of your brain will start allowing that compassion in. Next, start to imagine good enough. So say to yourself, this relationship is good enough. What I baked this morning is good enough. Doesn't have to be a 10. It's an 8. That's okay. No matter what you're doing, make it good enough. When you strive for good enough, you're already knocking down the perfectionistic 10 that you so fervently strive for, making it an 8. And watch people's reactions. They'll still be admiring you. They'll still be in awe of you. They'll still love you. And that's the most important thing. Stop seeking quick results. Okay? Many times the reason people put so much effort into being perfectionistic is they want an immediate result. If you can begin delaying your gratification, understanding that the process is what's important, that good things take a long time, that it's a marathon, not a sprint, it can help take that pressure off of you to continue to be perfectionistic, which is really very stressful, anxiety-provoking, and it turns you into a loner. In summary, there are ways that you can change yourself, your thoughts, to mitigate the stress, the pressure, and all of the censoring that being a maladaptive perfectionistic person does to you. But mostly, as you ease up, you're going to ease up on any partner, and your relationships are going to be a lot easier, a lot closer, and feel a lot more secure.